Hi, Scott from Digital Fish with content that catches and some information and tips on how to fish rock stacks and islands. I wanted to do a video on fishing off islands and rock stacks for the rock fisherman or shore-based angler. Here in the Hauraki Gulf there's actually a lot of fairly safe rock fishing on the east coast. The west coast is a different story. It's a lot more dangerous and the weather and swell conditions are more powerful and unpredictable. However, on the east coast there's actually some really good opportunities to fish off islands and rock stacks. Particularly at low tide you can access places which are usually inaccessible during high tide, and if you have a kayak or a boat you can also access some really good spots to fish. Places that other people don't fish very often. And so these places that don't get an awful lot of pressure tend to have more fish hanging around them. Islands and rock stacks can be really good for fishing because they have their own little healthy ecosystems around them. They tend to attract more current and it tends to be deeper water off the ocean side. This means that the fish that anglers normally target, like kahawai, kingfish, trevally, snapper, often hang around islands. There's ecosystems, there's food, there's shelter, and there's current. All really good ingredients for those fish to pass by, to inhabit, or to have a look at. Rock fishing is a bit of an adventure for me. I like going on Google Earth and looking for spots that other people may not really want to go invest the time and to go visit and try. I've spent lots of time on the rocks. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but I learned stuff along the way. Rock stacks and islands are one of my favourite places to actually target. I've accessed them off boats, kayaks, even kids' inflatables. But a word of warning, you have to be very careful with safety. So first of all, fish with a mate. Tell people where you're going, what time you're going to be back, and have two waterproof forms of communication. If you have a locator beacon, it's also really good to have. Like I said, the Hauraki Gulf has quite a few good safe opportunities to fish, but make sure you check the weather. Westerly weather usually flattens out the swell, so this can be a good time to go explore. You can wade out to rocky ledges and islands and fish off them. Some places you can fish over the tide, and you can see what it's like around there at every stage. Putting this video here on an island. Got up early this morning about 4:30, took my kids' inflatable with me, waded through the water up to about knee, waist deep water, onto an island, fished here over the high tide. My friend and I both got about 4 or 5 snapper each and had a really good time. We're trying for kingfish right now, haven't seen any, but with the outgoing tide there might be a few passing by. So it's been a great adventure. Really enjoy fishing these sorts of places, and the rewards are quite good if you're willing to put the time and effort in. But remember, it's really important to be safe, to fish with a friend, and don't take risks. That's not a good idea. An important safety tip: if you're planning to fish just for a couple hours over low tide on a rock stack or an island or an exposed ledge, make sure you keep looking behind you. It's easy to be distracted by fishing and then suddenly look up and the water's a lot higher than what you expected. I've been in a situation before, got pretty wet. It wasn't during the hours of darkness, and I only recommend fishing islands or rock stacks in the dark if you're very confident and you've had experience in those locations before. Don't take risks. You don't want to be swimming in the dark trying to get back and step on a stingray or something. I've definitely had them swimming around my feet, and it's a bit unnerving for sure. So check out what your location looks like at high tide before you tackle it at low tide. So keep checking behind you. I have seen fishermen stuck on rocks on an incoming tide and they had to be rescued. You can tell they just didn't really have the experience to know how to fish that particular area. So check out Google Earth and do your homework, have a scout around, and you'll probably find some actually good places to fish that other people generally don't fish.